Tim Boone, and this is my Champion framed XL350.
You know, Tim Boone, I don't get too many opportunities to have bikes here. Thanks for bringing it down.
No problem, my pleasure.
A Champion frame Honda, I mean, this thing is absolutely magical. Why don't you give us, let's talk a little bit about how you got the bike. And then we'll walk around, get a little closer, and maybe talk about some of the details. So, where did the bike come from? How did you find it?
I found it at a bike show over in Scotts Valley. Okay. It was just somehow there's a lot of beautiful bikes there, as you know. I think you were there. And I just gravitated towards this. And the gentleman, I keep forgetting his names. I'm very bad with names.
It's a low time original 1974 CR250. It is 48 vent numbers between the frame and the engine, as the ID book says. It's got a very low time pipe put back on it. Had a race pipe on it that was brand new also. Spokes in the wheels are clean. Stock shocks. Right carburetor. Tank's not perfect. Seat's not perfect. All controls are the originals. Bars, levers, kill switch, spokes, rims, even the bolt-on foot peg. All the original cables on it. Gary Jones and his brother Dwayne and his father Don.
How you guys doing? Right here in the Brap shop. This is Roger with Brap Suspension. We've got a fun little segment for Joe Abate's Vintage Motocross Q&A. And tonight, we're going to be talking about bolts. In this case, this is a linkage bolt that's been a little boogered up. Looks like somebody got the little hammering, trying to get this thing in, and they really beat it up. So how do we smooth that out? Well, I don't have a lathe. The lathe would be nice, chuck that in the lathe, but what I have is I have a D-wall drill. So here, we're just going to chuck this baby up in here. Tighten that down. All right, we got that going. Got me a little 150 grit sandpaper. I'm going to start with that. All right, get us a little lube. Some good old WD-40. We're just going to try to smooth this out. We don't want to take off much material, but we want to get rid of all those ridges. So I do this a lot. This is actually how shock shafts. Same way, but most of the shock shafts will fit into the vice chuck. And I just go about my little polishing. Oh, I mean, I can feel some rough spots in that. You know, yeah. So there's a nice little
comment if you can hear it skipping. If the video is in sync,
maybe you've got an axle off your vintage bike, or some bolts that have some bad corrosion on them or something. It's a great way to clean them up. You just use your drill. Every once in a while, if my drill chuck is too small, I will chuck them up.
I'm having a problem with videos either not in sync or they're skipping, as if I have a bad connection, but only on some videos, not on the show itself, not on my Boysden videos, not on my Terry Good videos. I had a problem with Roger Neth's video, and I think I had a little problem with Roy's video last week too. I'm going to check on that right now. If you can make a comment and let me know while I'm playing them that either they're skipping or you can't hear them, any kind of feedback at all would be a big help. Here comes your Roy video. Let me know.
Everybody, Roy Vanderveer here. Welcome to this week's edition of Next Time Try This. I have a set of reed pedals in front of me that I am going to do something that will increase their longevity and probably improve their performance. If you're using one of the reed brands that are die stamped, which means they're impact cut one at a time, by manufacturing them that way, you get frayed edges all the way around the reed pedal. Now I've already prepared this edge, and you can see I can run my thumb along it and it's perfectly smooth. If I try that with this edge, it should snag. I can definitely feel it. See if I get close enough, maybe you can see it. So that's because the edges of the reed have been impact cut, which fractures the fiberglass. So you end up with a lot of little loose ends hanging out of the edge of the reed pedal. That's one. Number two, it makes a square edge. And the last thing we want on the corner of the reed is a square edge as it opens and closes and impacts the valve seat over here. So to get this smooth edge, you just take some sandpaper. This is 600 wet dry. Put a little lubricant on it. I like to use my finger because that's soft enough to round the edge of the pedal a little bit. So we can get rid of that square edge and have a rounded edge, which is a lot less likely to split or fracture. So just with that, now it's nice and smooth. My fingernail doesn't snag on anything. 600 grit is good. You can do 800, 1,000, 2,000. Make yourself as crazy as you want. Too smooth is not possible. You also have to get the inside of the reed. Oh, this one's really rough through here. So it takes a lot of time to get these inner holes all sorted out. The outer edges, not so bad. Once you have all the edges prepped, put it together as per normal procedure. And while I had this one apart, I thought I'd share with you something I do when somebody's been using RTV sealant, which isn't really the right stuff. It's hard to get this stuff off, and I always like to start with a clean slate. And I found that a wire wheel on a drill does a great job of making quick work of getting rid of all this stuff. I have a brass wheel somewhere, but I can't find it. Steel works okay. Brass is better. And we'll just give it a little. And while I had this one apart, I thought I'd share with you something sealant, which isn't really the right stuff. It's hard to get this stuff off. I always like to start with a clean slate. And I found that a wire wheel on a drill does a great job of getting rid of next time try this. Today we're going to talk all this stuff. I'm trying this. I have a brass wheel somewhere, but I can't find it. Steel works okay. Brass is better. We'll just give it a little. And while I had this one apart, I thought I'd share with you some sealant, which isn't a nod to one of our show though. And then assemble the whole thing. That way you're assured, as much as you can be, that you're not going to have any air leak problems here. I would not trust this for a minute, putting it together without a sealer on it. Now this side gets a gasket. That'll be fine. So that should help make your ride a little better. If you're using impact die stamped reeds, that's what you need sandpaper for. If you're using Vinco reeds, which are CNC machined, they're already smooth as glass, so you don't have to worry about it. So whether you're using this or using that, there's things you can do to help make your tape.
Not good. The videos are lagging, and I don't have a great connection. Remove from the studio. Can somebody comment on whether the videos are lagging or not? Or, whether they're lagging or the sound isn't syncing with the lips on the videos. Somebody make some kind of comment on that, please, if you can. trying to get to the bottom of this. Not having too much luck. Unless somebody out there knows why the rest of the broadcast goes perfectly, and including some of the videos, the pre-recorded videos work perfectly, and yet others don't. Here's one's pre-recorded.
Motocross struck America, coming from Europe like a lightning bolt, striking the hearts and minds of people all across the country and the world. Battles of intense racing and cutting rivalries with loyalty to brands and heroes intensified as years of blood, sweat, and dirt flew through the minds of those memories of champions as they wrestled their machines through almost impossible tracks. But where are those past champions? And where are their bikes? Terry Good, an ex-pro motocross racer, has made it his life mission to honor these heroes and the bikes they rode to stardom.
No problem with that video. Works perfectly.
I get asked often, what's the most important thing on Clunker? Answer simple, it's me. That's why I use Full Circle racing wheels prepped by Tom McAllister. So should you. Watch this and learn why.
All right, maybe this is the problem. Hang on. All right, I want to add a video clip. I don't know if this is long enough. Let's find out. File's too big. Okay. Those are all too big. Those are definitely going to be too big. Let's try this. They're going to be too long.
Vinco, who already has a full line of vintage parts, now has air shocks that are an exact duplicate of the original air shocks so popular in the late 70s. So whether you're looking to build a full racer or museum showpiece, these shocks will give you that incredible 70s look and improve your bike's performance. These new air shocks are fully rebuildable with Vinco rebuild kits, and all shocks are hand assembled in the USA with all new components. Every component is brand new. Just like the originals, our air shocks are adjustable with 2 chambers, high and low pressure, giving you tremendous flexibility for settings of your bike suspension. The Vinco air shocks come fully assembled and ready for installation. Just add air or nitrogen. The kits include the manual and spacers. Visit Vinco.com to check out the air shocks and all that Vinco has to offer to help you get back on track and to keep that ride going.
All right, this might do it. Again, if you're watching, I'm just running some tests here on some pre-recorded videos. I've been having problem with syncing those videos during the show. And people work hard like Roy Vanderveer and Roger Neff. Jerry Maddox videos, Dave Boyden videos, no problem. I don't know why, though. I might know why in a minute. Because I have to Some I can cue right in StreamYard, while others are too long and I have to bring them into StreamYard from an outside source. Maybe that's why they're lagging. This next video, I just did that, and I'm queuing it up now within StreamYard, and we'll see how this one plays once it downloads. Taking a while to load up. Hi, Tyler McGregor. Oh, wait. Okay. This could be it. Now, if this doesn't lag, then I might know what the problem is. In this week's Next Time Try This segment, which is brought to you by Vinco, I want to talk to you a little bit about transfer screws and what they are, how they can help you mount a number plate like this. Two bikes that come to mind are various years of the CZ and the 74 Yamaha YZ250A and 360A. When you go to mount those number plates on the sides of those bikes, there really isn't a way for you to tell exactly where the screws go if you're drilling a new plate like this one. I'm going to show you in just a minute what I do and how you get it right every time with accuracy. To begin with, what I did was I found two 6mm screws that were just like this, and I proceeded to put... All right, so it's not lagging when I do it that way. Now, if I try and present it from outside StreamYard, let's see what happens. Same video. Let's try it again. This week's Next Time Try This segment is brought to you by Vinco. Keep the ride going. There are a couple of different ways you can attach number plates to your race bike. Some guys use zip ties. That's not the video I'm looking for. Present. What's it called? Side plate mounting. Video file. Side plate mounting. Okay, let's see. In this week's Next Time Try This segment, which is brought to you by Vinco, I want to talk to you a little bit about transfer screws and what they are, how they can help you mount a number plate like this. Two bikes that come to mind are various years of the CZ and the 74 Yamaha YZ250A and 360A. When you go to mount those number plates on the sides of those bikes, there really isn't a way for you to tell exactly where the screws go if you're drilling a new plate like this one. I'm going to show you in just a minute what I do and how you get it right every time with accuracy. To begin with, what I did was I found two 6mm screws that were just like this, and I proceeded to put them in a vise, and with a hacksaw, I cut the heads off so they looked like this. After that, I took them and I made a real sharp point on it with my grinder. You could even go on to make them sharper by using either a file or sandpaper, but the sharper you make them, the better this little project is going to work for you. Also, a little tip for you is when you go to your grinder and you want to make a point on these things, what I did was I took two little nuts like this and I locked them together with two wrenches, and I was able to hold it with a vice grip as I was able to carefully go around the grinder and put a point on it just like that. Now you've got the screws in place, and you've got a nice pointy front on it just like that. Screw them in as far as you need to. You don't want them sticking out too much, just enough for your point. And right now, you can take your number plate and you could put it wherever you like. So if you want it a little higher or a little more to the back, wherever you might want it, you now have the ability to place it where you need it, and you'll know exactly where the holes need to go. And with a good push on it, you don't need to hit it with a hammer or anything. With a good push on it, where the points are for your screws, when you turn that plate over, there's one right here, and there's one right here. You can now go drill your plate, and you're going to have confidence that the holes are going to be right where you need them. That one didn't skip at all. Are you watching?
Yeah.
And they're not skipping. Tonight's next time try this segment, I'm going to discuss with you a little bit about how to remove wheel bearings. It really isn't that difficult. With a couple of tips I'm going to give you, it's going to make it even easier. Something I want to bring to your attention before we begin, though. As the bearings sit on each side of the hub, there's a spacer that sits between them, just like this. It sits right in there between the two bearings.
Yeah.
The axle rides on it. It helps keep the grease in and keep the dirt out. But you have to get this little bushing out of the way first before you have access to the bearing. Okay, now everybody can hear us talking while we're doing this, so
All right.
let's use all the words that are in the Bible, okay?
All right. So when I click on this,
Yeah,
Really isn't that difficult? With a couple of
I noticed that too. I don't know what that's about. I don't know what that's about.
make it even easier. Something I want to bring your attention before we begin.
I couldn't understand and figure out.
I don't know how when you click it to enlarge it, it goes to a next video. Now, I thought it was this. Stay here with me a second. I noticed that all the videos that I preload in the program for StreamYard,
Yeah.
there's never a problem with those,
Okay.
even this one. But now I went to use this one through the present,
Mm-hmm.
and it still worked okay. But some of them,
Well, the BRAP one is one, and the one that
the BRAC one skipped,
Oh, it did.
yes,
Right
and
now.
Roy's skipped too.
Right now.
Yeah, I'll show you. I'll show you.
How you guys doing? Right here in the Brap Shop. This is Roger with Brap Suspension. We've got a fun little segment for Joe Abate's Vintage Motocross Q&A. And tonight, we're going to be talking about bolts. In this case, this is a linkage bolt that's
Yeah,
been a
this is
little
what we-
boogered up. Looks like somebody got the little hammering, trying to get this thing in, and they really beat it up. So how do we smooth that out? Well, I don't have a lathe. The lathe would be nice, chuck that in the lathe, but what I have is I have a DeWalt drill. So here, we're just gonna chuck this baby up in here. Tighten that down. All right, we got that going. Got me a little 150 grit sandpaper. I'm gonna start with that. All right, get us a little lube. Some good old WD-40. We're just gonna try to smooth this out. We don't want to take off much material, but we want to get rid of all those ridges. So I do this a lot. This is actually how I polish shock shafts. Same way, if most of the shock shafts will fit into the vice chuck, and I just go about my little polishing. Oh, I can feel some rough spots in that.
Now it's getting,
You know,
can you see up here?
so there's a nice little procedure for smoothing out bolts or polishing some bolts. Maybe you've got an axle off your vintage bike or some bolts that have some,
There you go. Now it's really.
it
seems almost
corrosion
as
on
if
them or
as it goes on,
something. It's a great way to clean them up. You just use your drill. Every once in a while, if my drill chuck is too small, I will chuck them up in my drill press that's right here. I use this to polish fork tubes. That's all that drill press does. I'm gonna start this with the 150 grit, and then I'll probably go a couple grits higher. I'm not super worried about it being really polished smooth. You know, it's just a linkage bolt. You know, so it's gonna go through a steel bushing. But right now it's pretty rough, right? So we're just gonna try and smooth this out a little bit.
Yeah, you've seen it 1,000 times. Here.
It's a load time, original 1974 CR250. It is 48 vent numbers between the frame and the engine, as the ID book says. It's got a very low time pipe put back on it. Had a race pipe on it that was brand new also. Spokes and the wheels are clean. Stock shocks. Right carburetor. Tank's not perfect. Seat's not perfect. All controls are the originals. Bars, levers, kill switch. Spokes, rims. Even the bolt-on foot peg. All the original cables on it. Gary Jones and his brother Dwayne and his father Don did a great job taking this bike from the drawing board and making it the refined version that got released to the American public. 1973, everything changed with this bike. That's the correct rear sprocket, shocks, chain guide.
I get asked often, what's the most important thing on Clunker? Answer simple, it's me. That's why I use full circle racing wheels.
Vinco, who already has a full line of vintage parts, now has air shocks that are an exact duplicate.
Hi, I'm Warren Reed. You're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A. We'll be right back.
I don't think it matters, but it can't possibly matter. View on Facebook. There's no way. Yeah, I don't understand it, Tyler. The videos lag from Roger Neth, they lag from Roy, but none of the other videos lag. Jerry Maddox. Another video that lags, and I don't understand why, is my own video from my own garage. Somebody explain that to me. Here, I'll show you right now. And it was an awesome video too. I've never been able to show it on the show. Video file. I've never been able to show this on the show, and it's an awesome bike, and it was right in my shop. Here, watch this. Here we go.
Champion frame XL350. You know, Tim Boone, I don't get too many opportunities to have bikes here
Thanks for bringing it down.
No problem, my pleasure.
A champion frame Honda, I mean, this thing is absolutely magical. Why don't you give us, let's do this. Let's talk a little bit about how you got the bike. And then we'll walk around and get a little closer and maybe talk about some of the details. So where did the bike come from? How did you find it?
I found
How
it at a
could my
bike show
connection
over
drop?
in Scotts Valley.
Okay.
It was
Depending
just
on which
Scotts
video
Valley.
I have
There's
up.
a lot of beautiful bikes there, as you know. I think you were there. And I just gravitated towards this. And the gentleman, I keep forgetting his name, I'm very bad with names. But we must have crossed paths a million times because I grew up in Fremont, he lives in Fremont.
Right.
And this is where the motorcycle was. And then when I seen him, I said, boy, I would really love to have one. And he goes, well, just by chance, I can't kick him over anymore because he's in his 80s.
Yeah.
I would like to get rid of him. I have 4.
And here we go. I remember seeing it, and it was in the show that day.
Yes.
And, or maybe it was, no, I think it was this one, and it caught my eye, and I never thought after that show I'd ever get a chance to see it again. And then you and I with Facebook and buying and selling parts together and whatnot. Well, you decided you wanted to bring it over today, and I was not going to say no. What size is the engine?
It's a 420 bored and stroked.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got the stroker crank kit, it's got a power roll cam. Funny thing is, you would think it's all XL350 motor, but he is very good about knowing what side cases will work better on it.
Right.
So he'll do an XL175 or the trials bike. Sometimes he gets the side cases off those. Because I don't know how many he's built total, but he has 4. Well, he has 3 left. This was one of the 4 that he had that I got. This was my favorite. He has 2 more Champion XL350s, one's with 80, another 420, and he has a C&J XL350 with a 420 kit.
How many variations of that engine did, it's not a power roll, is it? What engine is actually, what's the kit that's in that engine?
There's a company, well, it was Power Roll.
Oh, it was? How can my connection become more unstable as the video plays? Now, I just ended it, and it says the connection is still unstable. Oh, now it says the connection is fairly good, and I'm not lagging at all. You know, it's very frustrating every week when I put up a video, and I have that problem. It's frustrating for you, the viewer, for me, and it's a bit embarrassing. Banana Brooks. Who the hell is Banana Brooks? Anyway. Oh, that's how you do that. Connection's fairly good. Sam Ludlow, Dan Zabalski, Kurt Evans, thank you for watching. Mike Moto Goose, James Costoval, David Donald Fetter. Thanks for tuning in. I'm just trying to work out some details here on why some of my videos skip. Can't go on like this. Connection is fairly good. You're on Wi-Fi. And when I do this, open credits never lag.
Hey, I'm Brad Lackey, and you're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A. Be right back.
Motocross struck America, coming from Europe like a lightning bolt, striking the hearts and minds of people all across the country and
In this week's Next Time Try This segment, which is brought to you by Vinco, I want to talk to you a little bit about transfer screws and what they are, how they can help you mount a number plate like this. Two bikes that come to mind are various years of the CZ and the 74 Yamaha YZ250A and 360A. When you go to mount those number plates on the sides of those bikes, there really isn't a way for you to tell exactly where the screws go if you're drilling a new plate like this one. I'm going to show you in just a minute what I do and how you get it right every extra camera. I don't have an extra camera, do I? Share an extra camera. Did You Know segment is brought to you by Jeff Kokoski. Did you know? In our first segment about Dunlop tires, we talked about how the company came about in the late 1880s from an Irishman named John Boyd Dunlop. And he built the first pneumatic tire for his son's tricycle at that time. Although J.D. Dunlop sold the majority of his shares in 1895, the business continued on using the name and eventually was called Dunlop Rubber. After World War I, demand for tires in Europe fell sharply as the continent struggled to rebuild after the war. Although the American auto industry was on the rise, the tire manufacturers in Akron easily fed the auto factories in Detroit. By 1920, the price of rubber had collapsed and Dunlop struggled with quality control problems, leading to a loss of about 8 million pounds, which today is $600 million. It was 1922 when British businessman Sir Eric Geddes was appointed chairman of the company. Geddes had a background in railways, served as head of the British military transportation on the Western Front during the Great War. After the war, he became Britain's Minister of Transport, where he was known for imposing deep spending cuts. At that time, he was the right man for the job, and he did turn around the Dunlop Rubber Company. By 1928, only 72% of the company's revenue was related to tires, compared to 90% in 1920. At the end of the decade, Dunlop Rubber had manufacturing subsidiaries in the U.S., Canada, France, Germany, even South Africa, and Japan, securing an equal market share once again to their rival, Michelin of France. In the 1930s, Dunlop patented then began manufacturing latex foam under the name Dunlopillo. The foam is used in mattresses and still is in production today. During the lead up to World War II, Dunlop began making joystick components for British Spitfires that were soon to be used during. That's a video I recorded. And it doesn't seem like that was skipping at all. Video file. Did you know Bel Ray? Let's try this one. Tonight's Did You Know segment comes to us, of course, from Jeff Kokoski. In keeping with the theme of our discussions over the last few weeks about oil, tonight we'll be discussing another brand of two-stroke oil that became equally popular during that development period of American motocross, Bel Ray. Oddly, when most people think of Bel-Ray, they think about some synthetic two-stroke oil, but that isn't really even close to how the company got started. Around the end of World War II, a chemical engineer named Bill Kiefer started the company in his family's suburban New Jersey garage. That's correct, New Jersey, not Southern California. Bel-Ray's first product was a specialty lubricant manufactured for Nabisco for use in their high-temperature bakery ovens. They were also involved in the pharmaceutical industry and other clean industries, including cosmetics. At the time, they developed an extensive line of non-toxic food-grade lubricants. As time and the company had grown together, they continued to research and field-tested Bel-Ray and their product of high-performance lubricants and greases for mining, aerospace, heavy industry, marine, and military applications. By 1970, Bill Kiefer's son, Kurt, was interested in motorcycle racing, and he had been bitten by the motocross bug. As two strokes had become racing norm, Bill and his son had the opportunity to develop a synthetic oil that had a high dilution ratio and had exceptional film strength that left no deposits while being run at elevated temperatures inside of high-performance two-stroke engines. Soon, Bel-Ray's MC1 was competing with the likes of Castrol, Klotz, Golden Spectro, as well as many others. But it was after this photo was taken, this photo that you're seeing right here, at the 1975 USGP at Carlsbad on the cover of Cycle News following the race that the popularity of Bel-Ray had absolutely exploded. The photo shows Roger DeCosta in a classic MX form, left leg extended with the inside foot peg and hand grip dragon while slamming into a Carlsbad berm. Whether it was staged or accidental, a huge Bel-Ray banner tied to the track perimeter snow fence lurks in the background. We could see it here again. It lurks in the background, and that photo became an instant sensation. It really defined motocross at that time. Again, staged or accidental, we really don't know. It also didn't hurt both DeCosta and his teammate Garrett Walsink, who were actually running that MC1 in their work Suzukis. For the power sports industry, Bel-Ray would develop gear oil, foam oil, chain lube, fork, and shock oil. All right, that one's lagging. That one's lagging a little bit too. And while I was waiting for that to play out, I looked up, can the length of a video on StreamYard affect your connection? It says here, while StreamYard itself doesn't impose a strict limit on the length of a video you can share using their local file sharing feature, according to StreamYard, the length of your video can indirectly affect connection quality. Here's why. Full size and upload time. Longer videos typically have larger file sizes. Uploading a large file to the StreamYard, especially before pre-recording or using the local file sharing feature, which is what I'm doing, can take a significant amount of time, depending on your internet upload speed. A slow upload could potentially impact your connection performance during the stream, especially if you or your guests are simultaneously using bandwidth for other purposes. Bitrate and buffering. In essence, StreamYard doesn't limit the video length for sharing long-form content. The sheer size of long videos can increase the demands on your internet connection, potentially impacting the quality of the stream in your connection, making it unstable or your video is not optimized. But why does it only happen with Roy's video and Roger Nett's? Hi, Charlie Bagley. Banana Brooks is from the UK. Okay. How long or large can my pre-recorded video files be? This is for StreamYard. Here's what I'm going to do, guys. now that I know more about the problem, I'll know more about where to look for the solution. A couple of things didn't prove out though. I mean, I had a really long video of my own. It didn't skip whether I loaded it in the queue or I ran it through the present circuit. I got to look at this a little more. I might be back. Thanks for hanging in with me and answering a few questions. I just want to do all I can to make a better show for us on Wednesday nights, okay? I'll be back.